The number one thing every agent wants to know is how to get more leads for the real estate business. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. Over the last 15 years, I've closed hundreds of deals, flips, listings, wholesale deals, and I've tested just about every strategy out there, from cold calling and postcards to dropping over $1 million on Facebook and Google ads alone. I've seen what works, and I know what's a total money pit. And in this video, I'm going to break down the top 7 proven lead sources today that are working in 2025 that are producing real deals. And we're going to go over the pros and cons of each method, how long it actually takes to start seeing results, and what you can expect to spend, not just to get leads, but to actually close deals. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly where to focus so you can stop guessing and finally build a predictable pipeline of motivated sellers, which is 80% of my business alone, right? So starting with number 7 on our list is YouTube. This is specifically on videos for sellers. You really have to be niched down in YouTube in order for it to work for you. Now, this one does take patience, okay? But it absolutely works. I've got my own YouTube channel and it works really well. It's about creating videos specifically for sellers on YouTube, and is hands down, it's the most leveraged lead source on this entire list, okay? You do the work once and it keeps generating leads long after you hit upload. But here's the deal. This is not an overnight strategy. You're going to be looking at a solid 6 to 12 months before you really even start seeing leads come in, okay? Not to mention actual deals. That's if you're posting regularly and hitting the right topics sellers actually care about, which can be tricky for sellers specifically. You have to be very intentional about the type of content you create. Time investment wise, you are looking to spend probably about 8 to 16 hours a week if you're scripting, filming, and editing yourself, okay? But the upside is the leads are way, way warmer. They've already watched you for 5 to 10 hours. They already trust you. These are some of the easiest conversations I have, some of the easiest conversions once someone reaches out to me. In fact, when I meet people that have, watched me on YouTube, a lot of them hug me for the first time because they feel like we already know each other, okay? Now, cost-wise, what are you looking at? Well, it's practically free if you're doing your own editing, okay? You might spend a little bit on gear, or if you want to hire a thumbnail designer, that's totally up to you. That's going to be nothing compared to what you would spend on ads or mailers. And even better, YouTube actually starts paying you once you get some traction and monetize. It's not a whole lot in the real estate space, but there are some big creators out there on YouTube that are in real estate that do make a fair amount of money from Google AdSense. So if you're wanting to play the long game, YouTube is absolutely one of the best things you can build for your business. And I would honestly say it's something you have to build for your business just to add to social proof. Number 6, cold calling. Good old cold calling, the number one method that every brokerage firm out there is telling people to do. Now, we're talking specifically for listings, for motivated sellers. You're going to be wanting to target the expireds, foreclosures, absentee owners, not just geo-farming stuff. And this is probably the most classic and most dreaded way to get listings, I'll be honest with you. But I did this for years and it does work, but man, it is an absolute grind. And the best person you could possibly reach out and listen to about cold calling is going to be Ricky Carruth. He's the man and he's amazing at cold calling. Now, if you're calling consistently, you can expect to start seeing deals in probably about 60 to 120 days, right? And that's assuming you're doing it right, hitting up all the right lists, out-of-state landlords, pre-foreclosures, all the folks that actually have a reason to sell. Now, time commitment wise, this one's really heavy. You're looking probably about 4 hours a day minimum if you want to get anywhere at all with it. And let me be clear, those hours are not fun, okay? You're going to be getting yelled at, ghosted, hung up on more times than you can possibly count. It's a real mental game. Now, as far as cost goes, it's actually pretty affordable. $200 to $500 a month gets you a decent dialer and the data to call, but you're paying for it with time and emotional bandwidth, okay? Now, here's the thing. It does work. You can get 1 to 2 deals a month from this if you're disciplined, but you have to ask yourself, can I sustain this? Because for me, the second I stopped dialing, the deal stopped too, right? There's no leverage here. So if you're just starting out broke and you've got time, this is the best way to cut your teeth in real estate. But long term, you're going to want to move towards something a little bit more scalable, okay? Number 5, direct mail. And I'm not talking just about your standard just listed postcards or generic farming junk that gets tossed in the trash immediately. I'm talking about targeted mail for distressed properties, right? Absentee owners, inherited homes, probate, foreclosure, the stuff that actually works. If you're consistent, expect to start seeing real traction in about 1 to 6 months. And I know that sounds like a big range, but you can get lucky with mailers, okay? But in general, this is a long game that builds serious momentum. Time commitment isn't crazy either. You're looking at about 8 to 12 hours a month for designing, printing, ordering your mailers. And once your system's built and your lists are there, it kind of runs itself, right? But here's the catch. It's not cheap. To consistently get 1 to 2 deals a month, you're looking at around 3 to 6 grand in mailer costs every single month. Why? Because response rates are about 0.1%. Everything you read out there that's saying it's 1 to 5%, that's total BS, right? Test it yourself, send out 1,000, see how many calls you get. I just sent out 2,500 last month and I got one phone call. That's right. One phone call out of 25. So every 1,000 pieces gets you one phone call. If you're lucky, every 3 calls might get you one meeting, and every 2 meetings may be a deal. So the conversion rate is high here when people do reach out. But it's a numbers game, right? You got to be okay with throwing money at people who will never call you back. But when it hits big, okay? Off-market deals, motivated sellers, no competition, right? If you've got the budget and the patience, direct mail absolutely works. Just don't expect it to be fast or cheap, okay? Number 4, business networking. And this one doesn't get talked about nearly enough, and it's honestly one of the highest ROI lead sources out there and one of my favorites, okay? Networking with professionals who are already with distressed property owners, okay? We're talking probate attorneys, estate planners, divorce lawyers, junk removal companies, hoarder clean out crews, even contractors who walk into houses every week that are falling apart and clearly need to be sold. Now, this isn't an overnight deal, right? If you're consistent, making calls, grabbing coffee, dropping off small gifts, or just being helpful to these people, you can expect to start seeing leads in about 90 to 120 days, okay? It's going to cost you some time, probably 4 to 8 hours a week between calling, meeting, follow-up lunches, stuff like that. But the actual out-of-pocket costs are next to nothing, right? Maybe a few lunches or a few thank you gifts here and there. The key here is relationships over transaction, right? You're not trying to pitch them on sending you lead. You're trying to become their go-to solution when one of their clients say, I need to get rid of this house and I don't know what to do, right? And when that happens, and it will, they'll call you. And that lead, it's warm, it's exclusive, and it's usually very motivated, okay? These are the kinds of sellers who aren't responding to Facebook ads. They're not filling out home evaluation forms. They're just too overwhelmed and they just want someone they can trust, okay? So if you're low on cash but willing to put in some effort, this one's a no-brainer. Add this right next to all the cold calling that you do and start putting contractors and people in this category on your list. Number 3, and this one is where we've been focusing a lot of our attention on lately. Facebook ads, right? And I can hear the groaning out there now, the collective agents going, oh, God, it's Facebook. But this is one of our top performing sources over the last 12 months. And it's one of my personal favorites because it's fast, it's scalable, and it flat out works when it's done right. You're not going to get deals tomorrow, but if you've got the right ad, a good follow-up system, and some patience, you can start seeing results in about 45 to 90 days. And we're talking closed deals, right? So leads just start coming in within a day of launching your ads. I spend about 10 minutes a week managing my Facebook campaigns, and that's it. Once they're set up, they run like a machine. And here's the cool part. We're currently getting leads for around 50 to 60 bucks a piece in Denver, one of the most competitive markets in the country. So what does that mean? Well, to get 1 to 2 deals a month, you're probably looking at about $1,200 to $2,400 a month in ad spend, depending on your market and how good your follow-up is. Now, here's where most agents get it wrong. They run generic kind of what's your home worth ads. And those just don't cut it at all anymore. They want real offers, not some automated valuation tool. So the ads we run are more like get your cash offer on your house today, or skip the showing, skip the repairs, get options now. We position ourselves as problem solvers, not just agents fishing for listings, okay? If you're not testing your creative or if you're not following up consistently, you're going to be throwing money away here, okay? But when you do dial it in, Facebook becomes one of the most profitable lead machines you will ever use. And between me and my partner, Eric, we spent over $500,000 on Facebook alone in the last decade. Why? Because it works. And if you want to see exactly what we're doing on Facebook to kill it, just get on my weekly email below and we'll give you all of the secrets. On to number 2. This one steps it up a little bit, and we're talking Google, okay? So if Facebook is like putting up a billboard on a busy street, Google Ads is like setting up shop in the middle of town with a giant neon sign that says, "We buy houses," okay? The key difference is intent. These aren't people casually scrolling their feed, right? These are homeowners typing in things like "sell my house faster." What's the process to sell as is? They've got a problem and they're actively looking for a solution. And if your ad shows up, great. You're in front of one of the hottest leads in real estate. Timeline-wise, Google Ads is about the same as Facebook. You'll start to see real traction in about 45 to 90 days, depending on your market and how solid your messaging is. But leads will start to come in within a day, literally. Now, here's the best part. It takes maybe about 2 minutes a week to manage my Google campaigns, okay? Once the setup is dialed in, it's mostly just about adjusting budgets, okay? We're spending around 40 to 50 bucks per lead here. And again, in a market like Denver, that's pretty damn good. That means to close 1 to 2 deals a month, you're looking at a budget between $1,200 to $2,400 a month as well. Now, here's a little heads up here. These leads are hot, but they're also shopping, okay? When someone fills out a Google form, they're probably filled out 3, 4 others before or after they come to yours. So you've got to move fast. Speed to lead here is just everything. And if you've got a great offer and a clean follow-up system, Google Ads becomes a tap you can just turn on and off whenever you need deals, right? The most underrated lead source that almost nobody talks about is retargeting. Now, in order for this to work, you have to be running ads on Google and or Facebook in the first place, right? But these top 3 come together so nicely that we convert 1 out of 3 retargeting leads into a deal, right? That is amazing. So let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a pair of shoes online and then they follow you around for the next 3 days? Those exact shoes follow you around the internet like a lost puppy. That's retargeting, and it works like crazy. Now imagine doing that with home sellers. Someone clicks on your ad, maybe watches your video, maybe checks out your website, but they don't take action. Most businesses, they lose that lead forever. But with retargeting, you stay in front of them, okay? So now when they're finally ready to sell, you're not just some ad they clicked once, right? You're the familiar face that they've seen 5, 10, 20 times by now, and you're the one that they feel like is the obvious choice. Now, what about timeline to start seeing results? Well, you got to give this one at least 90 to 120 days. Why? Because this is the long game, okay? You're warming people up until they're ready to move. Time investment, basically nothing, right? 5 minutes a week to check your audiences, maybe swap a new testimonial video or an updated offer. Cost-wise, this is the best part. Now, you have to be spending on one of the 2 last options, right? Either Facebook or Google in the first place. But my retargeting ad, I spend a couple bucks a day and that's it. And the best part, these leads convert way better. They've seen you before, they trust you more, and when they fill out your form, they actually want to talk to you. So if you're already running Google or Facebook ads and you're not retargeting, you're leaving a lot of money on the table, okay? Big time. The truth is most agents are out here doing random stuff, chasing whatever tactic is trending this week, burning money, wasting time, wondering why they're not getting deals. But the agents who are winning, they know their numbers. They pick a lane and they go all in. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's that you don't need to be everywhere, okay? You don't need 17 different lead sources. You just need 1 or 2 that actually work and then commit to them like a real business owner. And if you want to see exactly what we're doing on Facebook to be thriving in today's wild market, just watch this video and you'll see the exact setup and the ad that we're running.